got a slightly late start, so I'm just going to jump straight into this here. Bitcoin has continued to consolidate at its zone of resistance, which is a very good sign in my opinion. I definitely we've just gone live here. I think we may have had a small technical problem, but welcome to the live show, ladies and gents. I'm just going to get straight into it because we've had a bit of a late start. Bitcoin has continued to consolidate at its zone of resistance, which I think is a very good sign. I obviously want to see consolidation at resistance levels, because one of the key concepts that I speak about at resistance levels or support is that if you start getting comfortable at these kind of levels, if you start really kind of hanging out in your zones of support, in your zones of resistance, then that can be a sign that your support isn't working, or that can be a sign that your resistance isn't working. And that's typically going to be, something which directly precedes a breakout, right? So previously, you can see a lot of the hits that we had at this particular range, you got sent down pretty hard. It was a nice little 4% drop here, for example, and it was just continuously, the market not able to sustain itself up in this price zone, even back here with that most recent attempt before right now. However, over here, we are sideways for a little bit, which is absolutely fantastic. And I think that does strongly imply that there could be some upside to come for this market here. And to me, that would mean the Bitcoin all-time high if we do manage to get the breakout. I think that's what I would be expecting. But of course, since we've actually been in this range now for about 100 days, I'm actually going to be expecting a little bit more than that at this stage, and probably substantially higher price action. And I think that's also supported quite nicely by the S&P 500. You see, the S&P 500 has spiked up quite nicely here. It is Friday, which is the final week of this final day of this trading week, and we do have another about 3 hours left for this trading session for the S&P 500, and we're literally at all-time highs right now. So if this does continue into next week's trading session, and I have no reason to doubt that it will, then I think that this actually puts Bitcoin in a very strong position, given that Bitcoin's already kind of trying to peak above those particular zones of resistance right now and holding on. I do have some concerns about this daily chart, and it's because, we've been getting rejected with some sort of nasty wicks here. We've still got 7 hours left on this particular daily candle, so I'm not going to jump to any conclusions here or get worried about the way this is at the moment, but I do think that this is worth paying attention to, for those of you that are more interested in that slightly longer term view. But again, if we do zoom in, it just looks super healthy to me. And I think that, the worst case scenario for Bitcoin right now is a potential drop down to 67. I don't want to see us losing 67K, because this level was hard to recover, right? When we lost this level, it took 36 days to get back above it. We saw some pretty nasty rejections. We saw a very, very nasty one here. So I don't want to see Bitcoin losing this level, but I also don't think that it's poised to lose this level. I think it's actually looking pretty good from that particular perspective anyway. But I think that is worth keeping in mind and paying attention to, with this stage in the market here, and if we do manage to get a bounce off here, then it's just more sideways consolidation, right? I mean, we're consolidating on a micro scale here. This is ever so slightly more macro, again, a very, very good sign, I think, over this market right now. It's also supported by some indicators, which I think is absolutely great. I mean, if we take a look at the 4-hour Ichimoku, which is one of my favorite ones, it's not great. It's not really confirming what I'm saying, but you zoom in slightly more, and the 1-hour Ichimoku cloud does confirm it. And, I'm not so interested in analyzing the chart on the 1-hour time frame just for the sake of it, but I like what it represents, which is that, the Ichimoku cloud literally tells the future, which is absolutely sick. I mean, not literally. I mean, there's math behind it, but it does print where you might be able to expect support or resistance in the future. And I think one of the functions that's useful for is just showing you, how this market may be getting ready to explode, right? I mean, when you've got sufficient consolidation, that's when you can kind of expect those kind of breakouts to come in. So I think from these shorter term perspectives, it's actually looking pretty good, which is absolutely great. And if you do zoom out slightly more and look at the EMA ribbon, for example, the 4-hour EMA ribbon has just caught up to the market now as well. It's already offered some really nice support with a couple of bounces, but we could be looking at some more yet to come, which is absolutely great. I think it's a very, very good sign. Potentially much more upward movement to come in based off that as well, which I think is just typically something that I've noticed. When the EMAs do catch up to the market, that means that you've kind of reached a sufficient level of consolidation. And it just kind of depends on your time frame, right? Are you willing to accept the 4-hour time frame, or do you need to see something a little bit longer term? And if you do need to see something a little bit longer term, then we don't have it yet on the daily time frame here. Quite clearly our momentum has not caught up to the market, and it's not going to catch up anytime soon unless the market drops, because we haven't moved up that aggressively from this point here at 67K. But this was just a week ago, and that's the thing, is I don't want to be too harsh or unrealistic about the market, saying that so and so should happen. I think that what we have is still good enough, broadly speaking, and based off that alone, I wouldn't be too worried, about the fact that Bitcoin hasn't been able to move up, super significantly from this point, and the fact that the EMA ribbons haven't caught up. But, like I said, consolidating at this resistance level, I think definitely what you would want to see, especially with the strength here that we haven't ever been able to produce at this zone of resistance. And you're continuing to see that if you zoom out, by the way. If I take off all the indicators and just zoom out on this chart, I mean, look at how much time Bitcoin has spent up here. This is absolutely amazing. I mean, the last times Bitcoin, was up here in the 60Ks, ranges and stuff like that. I mean, it was, very much like up here and then gone in a flash, up here and then gone in a flash. But over here, yes, there have been harsh rejections, but we've been able to maintain this range incredibly well. I mean, the real floor that we've been holding, was something that was quite far off in early 21, and we were only able to sustain above this particular level for a month in late 21. But again, over here, it has now been 100 days that we've been able to keep ourselves above that floor here, which again, I think it just says so much about the way the market is different this time, and the way that this market has more strength, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. And it also continues to play into what happened last time with Bitcoin's breakout above its previous all-time high in the previous market cycle, the previous bull market cycle, which was here at this $20,000 price level. Again, if we just drop another horizontal line, this was, of course, the previous all-time high for Bitcoin that we set back in 2017. And we did the same thing over here, right? I mean, we had this stellar upward rally here, very, very nice price action coming off a ridiculously heinous bear market bottom, and then we just consolidated at this resistance level for about 30 days until we were able to get up. So I think, in terms of character traits and this market rhyming and stuff like that, I think we are definitely seeing that taking place right here. I think we're definitely seeing that similar character traits are presenting themselves. They are showing themselves in this market here, which I think is great, because if we're doing something that we've already produced before, and it's already produced really, really nice upward price action, we've got very similar circumstances in the market, then, you're never going to get a surefire answer. You're never going to get something that's 110% clear in any particular direction. But this is the best that you can expect, in my opinion, and I think it's pretty good. I think it's a really, really nice chart. I don't even feel like there's a compromise here. I think this is just a good setup. You couldn't have really asked for anything better, and I think that is absolutely great. I think there's also some pretty interesting trade setups that could be coming here. One of the ones that I've outlined on my YouTube channel already is the potential long of this exact level if we break above it, right? If we come above it to any particular level and then come back down, this could be a very, very interesting long setup right here. There are a couple more trade setups that I've actually outlined on my YouTube channel, and you can find it linked below in the description. Where you'll get, I actually just uploaded a video. It's going to go live in about 10 seconds. So right when you're done with this live stream, you can go ahead and watch my video, which is a more informative look at some of the things I'm talking about now, including some other trade setup ideas, which I think could be exciting. So if you want to see more of me and watch that video, then check it out with the link down below. Of course, make sure you do smash up those likes and subscribe to the Fin Summit channel on your way down there. But I think from that perspective, definitely looking pretty cool. Again, S&P 500 at all-time highs, very, very good sign. I think altcoins are also looking interesting. We've seen Bitcoin's dominance continue to climb up ever so slightly, and Ethereum's dominance against Bitcoin weakening slightly as well. This is where I would start to expect support for Ethereum against Bitcoin, because this is a support zone. I'm still not bullish on Ethereum, but support is support. This is the number one thing that you guys always hear me say, and because of that, I am going to stand by that. I don't actually feel bullish on Ethereum, but I'm not going to ignore support. Okay, that would be a very, very nasty, dangerous thing for me to do, and that's just not something that I'm interested in. Shout out to the viewers in the live chat. We've got Bitcoin Motorist Sami over DFV, Who is DFV? Please let me know. And StuTube, consolidating against all-time high rather than harsh rejection. Remember you saying the same thing last cycle, nailing it, obviously. Thank you so much, StuTube. Absolutely love the support, dude. Yes, that is absolutely correct. That is something I've been speaking about for years in this market. Is that particular chart setup, how we did consolidate at all-time highs and stuff like that, and how that was actually really strong for the market. So I'm definitely liking the look of that in this market right now. So absolutely great stuff from that perspective. And I think, yeah, Ethereum, if we look at it from this particular angle, some support to be gained here. But if it does end up dropping, then, there could be some pretty nasty, price action to come from there. DFV is Roaring Kitty. Interesting. Well, thank you very much for the compliment, sir. I didn't know that DFV was a nickname of Roaring Kitty. But yeah, I mean, that live stream is probably going to be primarily about GME anyway. So maybe not super relevant to crypto, but I don't know. I haven't actually watched any of his content. If we take a look at some of the other altcoins, we've seen meme coins continue to just go absolutely crazy. I think recently they have pulled back a little bit, so this is something which is interesting. There's going to be some really good meme coin content on my channel soon, so I'm super excited for that. Altcoins, Solana is just consolidating right at its support level, and other altcoins are still stifled and suffocated quite low. There's probably, breakouts that they're trying to pull off, but I really think that they're just, subject to Bitcoin at this stage, right? I mean, whatever Bitcoin does, they're basically just going to be living in the shadow of, and I really do believe that to be the case. I've been saying that for a very long time, and I think that's, going to continue to be the case until Bitcoin really starts to top out, at least in some significant manner. You can have mini alt seasons and stuff like that, but they're not interesting. And the reason they're not interesting to me, at least, is because, yes, you might make a lot of money, but because they're mini alt seasons, you're going to lose your money just as quickly too. And you won't necessarily even have a chance to safeguard your profits a lot of the time because of how quick they are and because of how Bitcoin will steal that spotlight again later on. So, for me, what I'd be interested in is just seeing Bitcoin's current cycle mature a good degree further. And that could mean, $100,000 plus Bitcoin. I definitely think that that's possible. I think at this stage, 100 days of consolidation, it's sitting right at resistance now, S&P 500 at all-time highs. If Bitcoin can get above the 74K level, which was its previous all-time high, I mean, sky's the limit. You can pick any number, and I think it could be able to achieve it. I would certainly, I'm much more bullish now than I was a couple of months ago, put it that way. And the reason for that is because of how much consolidation we've had here. And so if we are able to get that breakout, then 80K, 90, I don't know, but it could happen very, very quickly. And so I'd certainly be interested in that. To the downside, like I said, our floor remains at 60K. I don't want to see us losing 67 because of what I mentioned earlier in this stream, but, if we do, it's okay. The floor at 60 is good. And if we lose it, there's still very, very good support at 52, 44, all the way down to 30 as far as I'm concerned. So there's nothing really that's going to make me bearish about this chart. It might just affect how bullish I am in terms of timeframes, but I think longer term we're still pretty sorted there. So there you go, ladies and gents. Apologies for the late start. I've been dealing with horrible technical issues over these last few days, and I had another one minutes before this live stream started. But we're here, and we still got a brilliant live stream out of it. So if you have enjoyed this one, do me a favor and smash up the likes. Double check that you are subscribed to the Fin Summit channel. I will be back with you guys on Monday, and I will see you all in the next stream. We have a flash dump on the 15-minute. Let's really zoom in here. We're on the 1 minute now. To me, this is not significant price action. We're kind of just revisiting the bottom of this range. Of course, if we do lose this range, then I think, yeah, it's probably down to about 67, but none of that would be, particularly crazy or concerning in any way for me. So, I think as long as we hold 67, we're good. And as long as we're above, 67, or consolidating around 71, then I think, we're poised to break the all-time high. So that's what I'd be expecting. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I'll see you